Full and basic online members of the RSA can import OCLC records into workflows to provide bibliographic records for their items that do not already have records in workflows. This tutorial will show you how to import a file of bibliographic records from OCLC Connection into workflows. You will also learn how to run the Load Bibliographic Records report to make the bibliographic records visible in workflows and the RSA CAT. The first thing you'll do is log into workflows using your library's tech login. Go to the Utility module. Click on the Mark Import wizard. Click on the Gadget button next to the source box. Use the drop-down menu next to Look In to find where the file from OCLC is saved on your computer. For this example, my OCLC export file is saved on my computer's desktop, but your export file might be saved in another location on your computer. Once you see your OCLC export file, click once on it to highlight it in blue and so that it appears in the file name box, and then click the OK button. So the location of where that file is saved on your computer now appears in the source box. Go to the destination box, and here you'll enter the first two letters of your library's workflows login code. So for this example, for the Alliance Library System, I enter the letters AG. Then you'll enter the word export, followed by today's date. Make sure you omit any special characters, including spaces, hyphens, and periods from the destination. Workflows will not accept these characters. After you have the source and the destination completed, click the Import button at the bottom of the screen. A Mark Import pop-up box appears asking if the diskette is ready. Say yes. Another pop-up box appears asking if there are any more files to upload. If you had another file from OCLC sitting on your computer's desktop or in another location, you would click yes here, and then workflows would let you upload the next file like we just did. For this example, I only have the one file saved on my computer's desktop, so I'm going to click no. A report box will appear on your screen. There's a couple things to look for. The first line to look for in the report, the number of MARC records processed. Remember that number. So in this case it's 6. That just tells you how many records were in the file you just imported. Look at the line directly below that, the number of MARC records in error. Make sure that that says 0, which it does here. After you take a look at the number of records processed and in error, you can close this report box by clicking the X in the upper right hand corner. You can also go ahead and close the Mark Import wizard screen and hit the cancel button to do that in the lower right. Your file of OCLC records is now on RSA server, but the records are not yet visible in workflows or the RSA CAT. Next, I'll show you how to run the report that actually loads the records so that they're visible in workflows in the RSA CAT. So to do that, you'll go to the Reports module. You'll click on the Schedule New Reports wizard. A screen with a tab labeled Templates opens. You're going to look for, in the list of reports, a report that contains the words Load Bibliographic Records in its name. In this case, it's the second example. If you do not see in this list of report templates a report that contains the words load bibliographic records, that means that that template has not yet been set up for your library. Before you begin loading any records into workflows, please contact Erica at the RSA and she'll help you set up the report template to help you get the records loaded. Since there was a load bibliographic records report template here set up already, I clicked on it to highlight it in blue, and then I'm going to click the Setup and Schedule button at the bottom of the screen. Click on the Load tab in the upper left-hand corner. Go to the File to Load drop-down menu at the top, and you're going to find the OCLC export file from the list of choices that begins with the first 2 letters of your library's workflows code. So for this example, for the Alliance Library System, my export file begins with the letters AG, so I'll click on that one. The rest of the settings on this screen are the report template. These can be left as is, they're already correctly set up. Click the Run Now button at the bottom of the screen. On this Schedule New Reports pop-up box, you'll click the Display Finished Reports button. You'll wait for your Load Bibliographic Records report to appear on this screen at the top. These are all your library's finished reports. It may take a little bit for the report to appear in the list, depending on if other RSA libraries are running reports at the same time. It looks like my report for this example showed up right away, but if it wasn't showing up, there is a refresh button in the upper left-hand corner. It has a black hat with white rabbit ears. If you click on that, that acts much like your internet browser's refresh button to refresh the list of reports. Once your report appears at the top of the list, make sure it's highlighted in blue, and then you'll click the View button at the bottom of the screen. On this Schedule New Reports, Finished Reports pop-up box, you'll want to make sure all 3 of these boxes are checked: View Log, View Result, Format Report. Once you check that all 3 of those are check marked, go ahead and click the OK button. A report with the results of your bibliographic load appears on the screen. A few things to look for in this report. The top portion of this report, which I've highlighted, those are just a summary of settings from your Load Bibliographic Records report template. You can disregard this chunk of text. Any records that you loaded that have errors in the 949 tag or in the item ID, they'll be preceded by 2 stars on the left-hand margin and then a description of the error. So you'll notice there are some with item ID already exists, meaning that the record with that barcode is already in the database. But there is another message on this record that says warning error in location. So that home location code was entered incorrectly in the 949 tag. Anytime you see a record that has 2 stars and an error message, see if you are able to find the record in workflows. Use the call number and item maintenance wizard to look it up. If it's there, go ahead and edit the codes that you need to and make the appropriate changes. If you try to look up a record with an error in workflows in the call number and item maintenance wizard and you're not able to find it, that means it didn't load. So you would need to go back to connection to your save file, correct the mistake in the 949 tag, re-export the record, and then re-import it into workflows. If at any time you need help understanding a record that has an error on your Load Bibliographic Records report, please contact Erica or Martha at the RSA and we'll help you understand the error. Below the errors, there's a couple things to look for in these chunks of numbers. The first thing you want to look for is in the first chunk of numbers, make sure that no bib records are in error. If you see a number here, that means some of them did not load into workflows, and like I mentioned, you'll need to go back to connection and redo the process for those. The other number to look for is in the chunk of numbers further down on the screen. You want to make sure that the number of catalog records printed in this line, that the 6 matches what you saw in the WordPad report after we imported the file, so during the first part of this process. The 6 matches up, so that looks good for this example, but like I said, the same number should appear here as what you saw earlier in the import report. The end of the report just gives a printout of each record that loaded into workflows and also the RSA CAT, so it just provides confirmation that your record successfully loaded. Once you take a look at this report and make sure you correct the errors, you can go ahead and close it by clicking the X in the upper right hand corner. This finished report that appears on this screen, it will be removed by RSA staff in about 2 weeks, so you don't have to worry about removing the finished load bibliographic records report you just ran. Go ahead and click the close wizard here and that'll close out of there. So the bibliographic records with your library's items attached to them are now visible in workflows in the RSA CAT. If you have any questions about loading OCLC records into workflows, please contact Erica or Martha at the RSA. Thank you for watching.